Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session. Before we jump into the episode, I want you to hear a short recording from one of my clients. We were on a group call and she was introducing herself to some new moms, and she was sharing a little bit about why she joined the coaching program and how things are going just a few weeks into the coaching program.
I am Alexis. I am a mom of 4. My oldest son is Milo. He's 8. Then my daughter Eliza is 6. And my son Charlie is 3.5. And this little critter right here pretty much is my sidekick. We recently moved about 2 months ago. We moved into a bigger, newer house because we just keep reproducing. So, so we got a bigger house. And then right after a couple weeks after moving, I got hit by a semi truck with the 4 kids in the car, which was like really a little, pretty inconvenient. And I have dealt with some stress and anxiety in the past, but really felt like I was doing pretty good. And then getting hit by this truck, like really just like squeezed, all the things out of me. Right. And I just basically went bonkers. And my husband just like sat me down on the couch, like almost like a lecture. Like I was a little kid, like I need peace in this home, whatever it takes. We need peace in this home. Everyone's walking around eggshells around you. You're very tense. And we couldn't pretend like it was just because of this accident. The accident was really like a flare up. You know what I mean? Like just a really big trigger, because some of this stuff has been underlying for a while. So I'm thankful for that accident to push me through to get this call. I literally Googled Christian like anger counseling, just desperate. Like there's got to be something out there. And just a big, I'll do 2 wins. A quick one is that my family's already noticed, just like 3 weeks into the program, my family's already noticing like greater space between the outburst. Yesterday was a kind of a tough day, but the family was able to notice like, oh wow, like this was like almost abnormal for me to be stressed out. So that was kind of nice because I've been less stressed out. So my family has noticed a difference. And then a big win for me was a few days ago, Lydia woke up like right in the middle of my most precious morning routine, right? And you know what? I just sat on the floor with her, spread out a blanket and toys, and sat on the floor with her and had my journal and just did my journal and my program on the floor playing with her. But because I was flexible, and let's just chill out and make it work. Like, let's just make it work. Because I was flexible, I was able to make like a reasonable decision of bringing her down here. And then she went up for a nap later in the day. So that was a big light bulb moment for me. Like, oh, it's working.
You just heard a message from one of my current clients that started working together with me at the end of December. I am so thrilled that she's already noticing positive changes in her life. And this can also happen to you. If you're interested in further support, book a free consultation call with me. The link is in the show notes. All right. Today's episode is 243. Do you react quickly in anger? Do you say too much when you feel frustrated? Do you wish you could handle challenging situations better and not based on your current emotion? In this episode, you will learn how to be slow to speak and pause before you open your mouth and say things to your husband and to your kids. Here's a couple Bible verses that I think will be really helpful for us to kind of piggyback off of. Proverbs 10:19 says, when words are many, transgression is not lacking. In James 1:19, it says, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Okay, that is all great and totally makes sense. And how do you practically do it? That has always been my problem. When I would read a scripture, when I would go to church and the preacher would preach on a topic in church, my question was like, okay, I go home. How do I practically do this and implement these scriptures into my life? So that is what we're going to talk in this episode about. So before I tell you exactly how to pause and be slow to respond and slow to speak, one of the things you need to know is that your stress levels, this is the practical aspect, has a lot to do with your capacity levels and how you overall respond or react. Just your overall stress, life stressors. There's stressors that are in your control and out of your control. In my coaching program, we focus on things that are in your control that you can do something about. That would be practical changes in your life, in your schedule. It could be mindset shifts. Like if you're trying to control things that are out of your control, that is going to create stress. It could be habit changes, practical shifts in your days that you can change starting today to increase your capacity levels to lower your stress. I have a really good training for you that's going to help you a lot with that. It is called How to 10x Your Emotional Capacity Levels as a Mom. You can either buy it for $27, the link is in the show notes, or you can get it completely free if you leave me a positive rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Take a screenshot of that, email it to me, hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com, and I will send you a coupon code so you can get that video training completely for free. So one of the things we need to understand before we get into the practical aspect of pausing and being slow to speak and slow to anger is I want to ask you, who do you believe you are? What kind of phrases do you say about yourself? Do you say negative things about yourself, who you are as a person? I am short-tempered. I react quickly. I speak without thinking. I say too much. I'm too loud. Are those things that you say about yourself? and who you believe you are as a person. Do you believe that about yourself? Because if you truly say those things over yourself and you believe those things, maybe you have some evidence to justify that. I understand. And if you keep speaking that over yourself, it is not going to help you be slow to anger. Do you think if you say to yourself, I'm short-tempered, I react quickly, is that going to actually help you to pause and to be slow to speak and slow to anger? It's not gonna. Okay? Versus if you speak positive, life-giving words over yourself and actually journaling about it too. And I will mention a little bit more about that later on. For example, I take a long breath before I respond. I am a great listener. I am slow to speak and I am slow to anger. Or I am learning to be slow to speak. I am practicing to be slow to anger. I choose to pause. I respond in a calm way. I'm learning to respond in a calm way. I ask curious questions. I respond intentionally. If you say those words over yourself, one of the things that we do when you first join my coaching program, we come up with an I am statement that really inspires you. And actually, these are some phrases that would be in an I am statement. I'm a great listener. I am slow to speak, slow to anger. That's one of the things that one of my current new clients that put in her I am statement. I choose to pause. I respond in a calm way. I am curious and I ask questions to be more understanding. I respond intentionally. Those are really great phrases that you can use in your I am statement. You write that statement every day and you speak it to yourself out loud. And that helps your brain to be able to implement that in moments when you want to react quickly. So first of all, lowering your stress levels is huge. If you're constantly stressed out and past your capacity levels on a daily basis, it's going to be really, really hard to implement the rest of the things that I am teaching you and that you would be learning in this podcast episode. So go listen to that training, how to 10x your emotional capacity levels as a mom. You can get it completely free. If you leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, give me a 5-star rating, screenshot it, send it over to me, to my email, hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. I'll give you a coupon code. You can get that training completely for free. It's going to teach you how to lower your stress levels, and that is going to increase your emotional capacity, because when we're stressed out, we cannot handle as much emotionally. Now, if you're listening to all of this and you're thinking, I constantly struggle with reacting in anger. I tend to explode over the smallest things. My family walks on eggshells around me. I don't even know how to stop the cycle. My friend, I hear you. You are so not alone. I promise you, partnering with God, you and I can work together to get you to a place where you are slow to anger, slow to speak, slow to respond in a God-honoring way, where you set a positive example for your family and a calm tone in your home. That could absolutely be your reality. So look, if you're struggling right now, if things feel really, really hard for you with your big angry emotions, I promise you, it does not have to be this hard. I want to encourage you to go to emotionallyhealthylegacy.com/coaching or use the link in the show notes to book your free consultation call today. Motherhood is too short to keep feeling like you're drowning in anger, to keep feeling like you're failing at who God is calling you to be, feeling like you're ruining your relationships with your loved ones due to your anger. This can change for you, I promise. So book your call today, because it really could be the first step to completely turning the whole thing around and living your motherhood reality that you have always dreamed of. All right, let's learn about how to practice pausing for 5 seconds when your kids ask you something or need something or you want to react in a reactive way. So one of the things you could do outside of speaking life over yourself and saying that you are someone who responds, who is slow to speak and slow to anger, is literally count to 5 in your mind. When you feel that agitation and frustration build up in your mind, you say to yourself 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That allows you to listen and process before you intentionally respond. Or maybe even ask curious questions to your children or those around you. One of the coolest things is that anger and curiosity do not coexist. If you're feeling angry about someone or something or a circumstance, you're not curious about it. You already made a conclusion about it in your mind, about your kids, that they're annoying, that they're frustrating you, that they're doing this to you. You're not being curious versus, I wonder why he's having a hard time doing his homework. I wonder why he's melting down. I wonder why he's resisting me with XYZ. I wonder why he came home in a bad mood. You cannot be curious and angry at the same time. So curiosity is something really interesting that I teach in my coaching program. Even asking yourself, like, during those 5 seconds, I wonder why they're doing XYZ. I wonder why he's asking for XYZ, or he really wants XYZ. If your kids or your spouse ask you, why are you taking so long to answer? You can say, hey, I'm taking my time, or I'm thinking about what I want to say. You are modeling to your kids how to process before you respond. You have a choice in what you choose to think, what you choose to say, and what you choose to do. When you choose to slow down, you oftentimes give a much better response than the knee-jerk reaction that you wish you could take back. I often ask myself, like when I pause, how do I want to respond right now? It gives me a moment to think. If my kids ask again, I say, I'm thinking what I want to say. For example, your kids come to you and they want something, and maybe you set a limit and they say, I never get what I want. And you want to just get them to stop complaining and react in that moment. So you take a deep breath, you pause for 5 seconds, and you respond with empathy and compassion. You really want to go to the store today. I get it. This is really hard when things are not going your way. I understand. You really wish you could go to the store and buy some candy. You are responding instead of reacting. And responding is intentional. Reaction just comes out of you without any thinking. And you're teaching your kids how to pause before giving an answer and response. Here's another example. You feel overstimulated by the noise in your home. There's a lot going on. The kids are running around in circles around you. The TV is on. Maybe there's some music playing in the background, and it just feels too much and overstimulating. You take a deep breath. You pause, and you say to yourself, there's a lot of noise. What can I do to help myself feel better and reduce the noise? Maybe you can turn off the TV. Maybe you can send the kids to the basement or outside. Maybe you can give them a quiet game to play, or telling them what they can do, or send them to their room. Maybe you can step outside for some deep breaths and fresh air. I sometimes go to my bedroom and I close my eyes and lay in my bed for a few minutes, or go to the bathroom with nobody by me and no kids tagging along, no toddler, close the door and just close my eyes and sit on the floor and just take some deep breaths for a few minutes to decompress from the noise level. That would be responding instead of reacting, yelling, everyone stop making noise, go to your rooms. Why don't you guys just stop yelling and making noise? Because, well, that's what kids do, right? It's not a them problem. It's you who's having a hard time, and you can do something about it by first pausing so then you can respond. For example, when I feel triggered by my kids or my husband, this is what helps me. I take a breath. And I pause, and I ask God to help me respond well. Jesus, this feels really hard right now. Please help me respond well right now. So the best way that I have found is to journal in your journal how you're going to pause next time things feel frustrating, what you're going to think, what you're going to say, what you're going to do, that you're going to take a deep breath, that you're going to pray, in your journal, writing out exactly when this happens, this is what I am doing, and this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm thinking. It honestly makes a massive difference because it creates a new pathway in your brain, what you're going to think, say, and do instead of just reacting out of frustration. Here are the takeaways from this podcast episode. First of all, speaking life over yourself and saying positive affirmations, telling yourself, I am learning to pause. I am becoming slow to speak and slow to anger. Number 2 is taking a deep breath and counting to 5 and using that time to pray for God to give you wisdom before you say something and open your mouth. Or sometimes you tell yourself it's better to not say anything. Maybe your spouse said something that was triggering to you. Maybe your kid said something that was rude and disrespectful, and you just want to react. And you tell yourself, it's better to say nothing. I'm choosing to say nothing. And you say nothing in that moment. You say that to your brain, I'm choosing to say nothing. I'm choosing to let this go. Because sometimes it's better to look over an offense. There's a Proverbs verse about that I really like. Sometimes it's better to just let it go. And number 3 is to journal in your journal how you want to handle yourself the next time you feel XYZ. We work in detail on that in my coaching program. I teach you exactly how to journal, how you can respond in a better way that is godly, that is God-honoring, that is in a way that you're proud of. We need to create a new pathway in your brain, what you're going to think, say, and do so you handle yourself better. And I teach you in detail how to do that in my coaching program. My friend, if you resonate with that and you want further help, I'm here to support you. Book a free consultation call with me. The link is in the show notes. I promise you there is light at the end of the tunnel where you can be a mama who thrives, who loves being around her children, a mama who's flexible, a mama who responds, a mama who's lighthearted and sunny around her children. I cannot wait to connect with you, friend. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.